What's up everybody, welcome to another episode of Fluff Hammer. Today we're going to be painting the new Slaanesh Shardspeaker. Pretty cool model. Super liked it when it first came out. As you can see, I've got my daughter on the baby monitor. The wife and kids are in bed, so I'm going to get to it. Today I've got a new product, the Colour Forge Matte Black. I got it from Element Games and it is super good. Don't know if you can see the primer on here. Super clean, super matte, super black, so it's everything you want from a primer. There's no texture to it at all. Super smooth. Absolutely perfect. Got the wet palette using the Army Painter. I am not using the Army Painter foam though. I don't like the foams that come with it, so I'm using Plenty Kitchen Roll underneath there. I find it stays wet for longer and it doesn't curl up like the foam does, so it's much better. So what we're going to do is get into it, I suppose. We're going to go with the colour scheme on the box. So I'm basically going to be kind of following that all the way through, and then yeah, hopefully we'll enjoy the end result. So first off, what I'm probably going to do is pick out the skin with Bugman's Glow. Now I've got a mixture of brushes here. I've got some Green Stuff World Kalinsky Sables, some Artis Opus brushes, and a couple of Army Painters. And basically, yeah, just following on the box. So we've got the forearm, the chest, which is tucked in, which is why we're painting that first, so we don't make too many errors knocking the cape and stuff around it. And then again, for the same reason, tucking in the face under the helmet. So I'll get them all done in Bugman's Glow. That's diluted roughly 50-50 with water. So I'll hit all those parts and then I will catch you for the next bit. Okay, so that's all done. It took 2 layers of Bugman's Glow to get a solid coat over it. So now what we're going to do is use scale 75 Ishtar Pink. You could use like a Cadian flesh tone if you want instead, but this is just the way I'm going to go with it. As you can see, even though it's pink, it's actually a beautiful flesh tone, and it's going to be the same thing really again, but you're just going to try and leave a bit of the Bugman's Glow in the recessed areas, so just like at the closest edges here and here, and then any muscle tone, like you can maybe just see a little line down there, and then obviously like under his pectoral muscle there. So I'm just going to pick out a couple of little bits. Just need a little bit of water. They're quite thin, some of the scale 75, so don't need a huge amount of water. I'm just going to pick that up like that. If you've got me on the camera, there we go. And then same again here. It's nice and thin, so you'll get a nice smooth blend between the two colours. As you can see, I've just left a gap on both sides, and then just where there's muscle tone through the middle there. So once we've done that all over, we're then going to go with Vallejo Game Colour Pale Flesh, and that will just be a final highlight right on the top edges, and that will be the skin done for us for today. So I'm going to crack on with that, and then I'll see you for the next stage. Okay, so that's that stage done. Wait, just stop the camera shaking a bit. So that's that stage done, and as you can see, the flesh is all done nicely and highlighted. Just like I said, with the mix of the Vallejo light skin tone just in there as well. There's not a huge amount of flesh, but you get the gist of it. So next up, we're going to go straight into the cloak with Xeris Purple, and this is going to be over all the cloak areas completely. So once again, you're just taking it onto a wet palette, probably close to 50-50 with water, and then we're literally just going to coat all the cloth areas on the entire model, with the exception of this middle tabard that I'm going to leave. So we're just using a size 2 brush. It doesn't really matter, you could just use a base coat brush or anything you want really. The neater you are, the less you have to touch things up, but whatever suits you really. Just get the layer down nice and thin and smooth. You're going to need probably 2 layers of this to get the solid effect that we're looking for. So I'm going to crack on and do that, and then I'll see you for the next bit. Okay, perfect, so that's all done. So what we're now going to do is do a 50-50 of Vallejo Game Colour Warlord Purple and Xeris Purple from Games Workshop, which was the base coat. So literally just line them both up together, 50-50 mix, until you get something around that kind of shade. And again, so we're going to go all the way over, but we're going to miss these deepest recesses. So where you've got the darkest gaps, we're going to go over all of it, but just miss them bottom little gaps. You'll probably see a bit better on the head. So just pick out the high points like that. And just leave the darkest purple in the gaps. So there we go, we're going to do that all the way over. And I will pick up with you for the next stage afterwards, which will be another layer of Warlord Purple and Xeris Purple, but it will be an extra, so it will be 2/3 Warlord then. So we'll get that done, and then I'll get back to you for the next steps. Okay, so we're starting to get some really nice shades and definition on this now. As you can start to pick up, all the folds are nicely shaded and the cloak's nicely blended. So what we're going to do is to keep with the kind of pale tone of Slaanesh, instead of adding white to my pink for the highlight, I'm going to add Screaming Skull. And if you ever paint purple or pink, if you add bone instead of direct white, you get this beautiful pastel pinky kind of highlight that you can see here. And I just love when you add bone to purples or pinks, you just get much more kind of pastel-y colour, which I really think suits the Slaanesh a bit more. So again, with this we're just going to do the next highlight up on this dude. Sorry, I'm just headbutting the camera just for a bit of a dramatic effect. Yeah, so we're just going to grab that and do the next layer of highlighting on there. Don't know if you could just catch what I just done there, but basically that's what we're going to do the whole way around here. So again, just sharp tip, drag it against where you want to go. Again, on here you can use kind of the side of your brush to trim. If I get it in the camera, you can see if I just trim the edge of your brush, line it around like that. So we're going to do that all the way over, and then we'll be moving on to probably the black or the gold details. So there we have it. That's all your purple details finished. So what we're now going to do is, again, taken from the box, I'm going to go over all the gold areas. I don't even think we've got any silver details on this. Oh, the shoulder pads. So I'm probably going to do the shoulder pads first. Pick them out with Games Workshop Iron Hands Steel, and then with Vallejo Silver, which is just the Vallejo basic silver, and then I'm going to give them a wash of Drucci Violet, and then all of the gold details we're going to start with my Retributor armor from Games Workshop. So I'm going to crack on them following the box art, and then I'll get back to you once that's done. Cool, so that's all the gold done. And then we are going to go over all the gold with straight over wash of Ragland Flesh Shade Gloss. So just literally straight over the whole lot. We're not diluting this with any sort of medium or anything. We're using the gloss because the gloss keeps the gold looking a lot shinier. Sometimes with the matte versions of the washes, really tarnishes and dulls the gold, which I don't want for Slaanesh. I want it to be bright and shiny, so we're going to hit all that gold Ragland Flesh Shade Gloss. You can do it straight out of the pot if you want. That's what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you quickly on here. I'll pick out the helmet because it's just the biggest area, it's easiest to do on camera. And there we go, just like that. So the gloss shade runs into all the recesses and shades it, hence the name, and that just makes it look so much better. And then you can highlight up from there. So I'm going to get around and do all the Ragland Flesh Shade, and I'll pick you up for the next stage, which will be highlighting the gold and then onto the grey details. Okay, so next up we are going to use Mechanica Standard Grey to pick out all the grey highlights. So that'll be the lines, the ridges down the staff, the first lines down the horns, and this tabard and the black leather boots. So I'm just use Mechanica Standard Grey, and again, just as before, just pick out the edges just like that. And just basically go around the whole model, pick out your edges of your cloth, as you can see, just really lightly, and it'll pick it up by itself. Getting straight down the middle here. So you're aiming for quite a thick highlight, because you're going to then have to try and get another level of highlight underneath it, which will be Celestra Grey. So you want this one to be slightly thicker. As you can see, I've just picked up a little bit more there, because then it gives you a bit of room to do your finest highlight right at the edge. So I'm going to go around and do all that, and then we are starting to get into the kind of finishing stages. While we're doing this here, we're doing all the hair as well. So again, just side of your brush, you can flatten it on your palette if you want, side of your brush, and just lightly drag it. This is almost like a wet dry brush as such, so you're just literally just grazing the edges as lightly as you can. And as you can see, especially on the hair, it's just picking up all those ridges where the hair is sculpted. So just like that. Like I said, it's just like a wet version of a dry brush. Cool. Right, so I'm going to crack on with all that, and I'll see you in the next bit. Okay, so that bit's all done. I also done a cheeky little Slaanesh logo in the middle there, which I'm now going to neaten up in the next stage, which is Celestra Grey from Games Workshop. And it's basically just neatening up those highlights so where they join. So you can see here where the lines join here, there's a almost like a T-junction. I'm going to just do a slight line down each bit there of the T-junction. As you can see, I've highlighted the horns, so I'm going to go halfway up again from the horns, just to finish them off. Okay, so we're back. The tumble dryer is on in the background, so I'm apologising if that noise is annoying. Since I last left you, I based the model with Citadel Tactical Armageddon Dust. And I'd only done that because it was overnight, so I thought it'd be a nice time to dry. I then washed it with Agrax Earthshade and dry brushed it with Screaming Skull. So next up what we're going to do is pick out all the gemstones with Game Colour Stormy Blue. And then we're going to highlight that by mixing in Scale Colour Adriatic Blue. So what I'm going to do is I'll do one on camera and then I'll fill up the other ones off camera. We're now getting into kind of the final details of this, which is quite nice. Always good to get stuff finished. So yeah, we've got Stormy Blue from Vallejo, and it's just a super dark blue. We'll pick this gemstone out here. I'll see if I can just get good focus for us. There we go. So literally just going to coat the entire gemstone with Stormy Blue. And then basically what I'm going to do is touch into the Scale 75 and the Stormy Blue and make a kind of mix of the two, which you can see here. And then I'm going to aim for doing 3/4 of it, so the bottom 3/4, like that. Next up, I'm just going to go straight into that, which is the Scale 75 Adriatic Blue, and I'm just going to pick out like basically just try and do a line around the edge here. You can see that, and then I'm going to hit it with a white dot at the top left corner up here. For white, I have got Scale 75 white. I've just got a new one from Pro Acryl. Never tried them before, but that was on an Andy Wardle Cult of Paint YouTube video. If you don't watch Cult of Paint, I suggest you give it a look, because you know, the guys over there are some of the best in the country, so it's definitely worth a look. So anyway, yeah, gonna hit the top left corner of the gem with the white dot, and there we go. So that's how we're going to do all our gemstones. While the white is out, I'm going to do a white dot just on the Slaanesh symbol where the points meet. So I'm going to do a white dot there, one there, and one there. But I'll do them off camera, and then just white dots at the top of the horns as well. And then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so we've done the gemstones and the orb up the top exactly the same as we've done the gemstones. Next up for them will be a layer of gloss varnish, and then we'll be moving on to highlighting the gold. First highlight for the gold is going to be Games Workshop Citadel Liberator Gold, and then we're going to go into Vallejo Game Colour Silver, but that will literally just be for the tips. So with the Liberator Gold, Liberated Gold is just a beautiful kind of halfway between silver and gold, and we're literally just gonna pick out the kind of raised edges, tips and stuff like here. I think silvery gold is really nice for the Slaanesh. As you can see, that just makes a massive difference. So we're going to go over all the gold details. Ones like this up here on the staff, you can just pull it up from the edge of your brush and that will literally just pick up the highlights for you. We're not doing a massive highlight here, like you aren't colouring 3/4 of the gold. It's just to pick out the very highlights. And then again here with the bit down there, just you know, very small subtle highlights onto that. And as you can see, we're nearly done. Then it will be onto just the smoke, and I think it'll be just the smoke and the base rim, and then we'll be done. So I'm going to do all the gold highlights. Oh, and then we've just got the little bit of rolled up parchment he's got there. We'll do that as well. So I'll just go over all the gold bits and then I will catch you for the next stage. Okay, here we are, the last stage. So what we're going to do is use Games Workshop Demonite Hide, and I'm probably just going to show you on the palette. What we're going to do is base coat it with that and then add Celestra Grey. So as you go along, you're going to get this purple, and it's going to get a little bit more grey as you go along, all the way to the end where we're going to add a little bit of white. So that's basically how we're going to complete this smoke. It's quite a good angle here, you can see with the light. So these top areas here are going to be the lightest, and then obviously all these underneath shapes here are going to be the darkest. But that is pretty much the last stage of the model. The only other thing we have to do is the little scrolls in there, and we're just going to do a Steel Legion drab base coat. And yeah, literally just pick it out. If you can see, there we go. Just pick it out and leave a little bit of black if you can in the top bit. Come around this side, pick it up from there. Perfect. And then with that, gonna add a layer of Screaming Skull over top. But what we're gonna do with the Screaming Skull, excuse me for 2 seconds, we can use some compressed air to dry that. If anyone's wondering, Amazon, I think it's about a tenner for 3 bottles. So we're gonna get that, and then we're just gonna try and flick down, so thinnest at the top and flick down to the base, just like that. So we want almost like streaky effect, but most solid at the bottom. So once we've done that smoke, the model is completely finished. So I'll get that done and then I'll come back to you at the end, and we'll have a good chat. Thanks for watching. So here we are, all finished up. The Shardspeaker. Just turn the other light on. There we go. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. Apologies for any background noises or changing of lighting. I started it last night and I finished it off today in a few small little chunks. The only other thing I'm going to do to finish it off will be to do some of these Army Painter Highland Tufts. If you've got any questions at all about how I've painted anything, or if there's any particular tutorials you'd like to see next, then please do let me know. Give me a comment down below. Please like, subscribe, share. Also as well, if you're going to be picking up any hobby bits and pieces anytime soon, I've put an Element Games link below, and they just give me a little kickback, so that just helps me kind of put more money into the channel to make content for you all. So I'm now going to put up some pictures and some videos of the finished model, and I hope you all like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers everyone, bye bye.